My name is Evelyn Carter. I was 29 years old when I watched my cousin walk down the aisle knowing his marriage was already over. Minutes before vows, a message appears on Daniel's phone. I'm standing in the church hallway watching Daniel adjust his tie when his phone buzzes. He pulls it out, and I see his face drain of color. His fingers freeze on the screen. The photographer calls for him, but Daniel doesn't move. He just stares at that phone like it's showing him the end of the world. "You okay?" I whisper, stepping closer. He swallows hard, pockets the phone, and forces a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Yeah, just nerves," he says, but his hands are shaking. The music starts inside. 300 guests are waiting. Lena is at the altar in her perfect white dress, glowing like a magazine cover. Daniel takes a breath, straightens his shoulders, and walks toward the doors. I follow behind, my stomach twisting. Something is terribly wrong. But the doors open, everyone stands, and Daniel walks down that aisle like he's walking toward his own execution. Nobody else seems to notice. They're all smiling, taking photos, whispering about how beautiful everything looks. But I notice. I notice everything. The ceremony begins. Lena beams at Daniel, her smile wide and confident. She's always been the charming one, the girl who lights up every room, who makes everyone fall in love with her instantly. Our family adores her. Her parents sit in the front row, dabbing their eyes with tissues. Daniel stands across from her, stiff and pale. The pastor talks about love and commitment and forever. When it's time for vows, Lena goes first. She gushes about destiny and soulmates and how Daniel completes her. People in the crowd actually sigh. Then it's Daniel's turn. He opens his mouth, and for a second, I think he's going to say something crazy. But he doesn't. He recites the traditional vows: duty, honor, respect. But he never says, "I love you." Not once. Lena doesn't notice. She's too busy crying happy tears. The guests don't notice either. But I do. I watch Daniel's jaw clench when he slides the ring onto her finger. I watch him blink rapidly when the pastor says, "You may kiss the bride." He kisses her. Everyone cheers. And I feel sick. The reception hall sparkles with fairy lights and white roses. Tables overflow with expensive food. A live band plays soft jazz. Lena and Daniel take the dance floor for their first dance, and cameras flash from every direction. Halfway through the song, a man I've never seen before approaches Daniel. He's tall, wearing a dark suit, and he moves through the crowd like he's invisible. He leans in close to Daniel's ear and whispers something. Then he slips a hotel key card into Daniel's jacket pocket. Daniel's entire body goes rigid. His hand on Lena's waist freezes. The man disappears into the crowd before anyone else can react. Lena keeps swaying to the music, oblivious. She's laughing, pressing her cheek against Daniel's chest. But Daniel's face has turned to stone. His eyes are focused somewhere far away. When the song ends, everyone claps. Lena kisses him on the cheek. Daniel excuses himself quietly, heading toward the bathrooms. I watch him go, my heart pounding. That man. That key card. What just happened? Our families toast with champagne. Lena's father stands up and gives a speech about loyalty and trust. He calls Lena the most honest woman he's ever known. People cheer. My aunt cries. Uncle Robert claps Daniel on the back, saying, "You're a lucky man." Daniel smiles politely but says almost nothing. He barely touches his food. He doesn't dance again. Around 10 o'clock, he tells Lena he has a migraine and needs to lie down. She pouts but waves him off, too busy taking selfies with her bridesmaids. I catch Daniel in the parking lot. "What's going on?" I ask. He looks at me for a long moment, his face unreadable. Then he shakes his head. "Nothing you need to worry about," he says quietly. but his voice is hollow. He drives away, leaving his own wedding reception early. Lena doesn't even notice he's gone for another hour. When she finally asks where he is, I lie and say he went to the hotel to rest. She shrugs and keeps partying. Later that night, Daniel texts me the name of a hotel. Room 412, the message says. Come alone. I slip out of the reception and drive across town, my mind racing. What am I about to walk into? When I knock on the door, Daniel opens it immediately. His tie is gone. His shirt is unbuttoned at the collar. His eyes are red, but he isn't crying. He steps aside, letting me in. The room is a mess. Photos scattered across the bed. Bank statements. Printed text messages. A laptop open with email threads displayed. Daniel hands me a photo without saying a word. It's Lena. In bed. With another man. The date stamp is from 2 weeks ago. I flip through more photos. Different dates, different hotels, same man. My stomach turns. How long? I whisper. Daniel's voice is flat. At least 8 months. Maybe longer. He shows me bank transfers, joint account money flowing into secret accounts, money funding hotel rooms, expensive gifts, trips I thought were work conferences. It wasn't just an affair. It was a double life. Daniel sits on the edge of the bed, hands clasped between his knees. I suspected something 4 months ago, he says quietly. She started coming home late. Her stories didn't match up. But every time I asked, she'd cry and call me paranoid. He tells me about finding a second phone hidden in her car, about strange charges on their credit card, about the time he saw a text notification flash on her screen before she snatched the phone away. She made me feel crazy, Daniel says. His voice cracks slightly. She'd hug me and tell me I was imagining things. She'd blame her job, her stress, her family. And I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But deep down, he knew. He just didn't have proof. Until today. Until that stranger handed him a key card and whispered, Room 412. Everything you need is there. Daniel doesn't know who the man was. A private investigator? A guilty conscience? Someone Lena wronged? It doesn't matter now. The truth is out. What are you going to do? I ask. Daniel's eyes harden. I'm going to win. The next morning, Daniel doesn't confront Lena. He doesn't scream or throw things or demand answers. Instead, he opens a notebook and starts writing. Dates. Times, locations, names of people involved. He cross-references bank statements with calendar entries. He creates a timeline of lies. When Lena wakes up, hungover and giggling about the reception, Daniel smiles at her. Best night of my life, he says smoothly. She kisses him and starts packing for their honeymoon. I watch this unfold from the kitchen, my coffee going cold in my hands. Daniel catches my eye and gives me a tiny nod. He's playing a role now. The loving husband. The fool who suspects nothing. But I see the way he takes photos of her passport. The way he screenshots text messages when she's in the shower. The way he quietly backs up every file on their shared laptop to an external hard drive. He's not reacting emotionally. He's building a case. And Lena has no idea she's already lost. They leave for the Maldives 2 days later. Lena posts photos on Instagram, sunset selfies, beach dinners, couple massages. She captions them with heart emojis and best husband ever tags. The comments pour in. Everyone congratulates them. Everyone says they're perfect together. But Daniel tells me the truth over encrypted messages. While Lena sleeps off her champagne, he's copying files from her secret phone. While she's at the spa, He's recording conversations with the hotel staff about charges she made on previous trips she took with the other man. He finds receipts for jewelry he never received. Flights booked under fake names. Messages arranging meetups while Daniel was working late to pay for their life. Every night, Daniel uploads everything to a secure cloud account. He labels files methodically. He timestamps every piece of evidence. By the time they board the flight home, Daniel has built an airtight case that could stand up in any courtroom. Lena thinks they had a perfect honeymoon. Daniel knows he just destroyed her. Back home, Daniel digs deeper. He discovers money from their joint savings flowing into accounts he never approved. Accounts Lena opened using his information but never told him about. Some funded the affair, hotel rooms, gifts, dinners. Some went to Lena's parents, who apparently needed emergency help Daniel never heard about. Thousands of dollars. Gone. Used to fund lies. Daniel sits at the kitchen table with spreadsheets covering every surface. His jaw is tight, but his hands are steady. She didn't just cheat, he tells me. She stole from me. She committed fraud. He shows me forged signatures on withdrawal slips. He shows me emails where Lena posed as him to move funds. She didn't just betray his trust. She broke the law. The more Daniel uncovers, the clearer the picture becomes. Lena never planned to be faithful. She planned to bleed him dry, then leave when the money ran out. But she made one critical mistake. She underestimated Daniel. She thought he was soft, forgiving, easy to manipulate. She was wrong. I remember the prenup argument. It was 6 months before the wedding. Daniel insisted on one. Lena laughed in his face. You don't trust me, she'd said, tears welling up. After everything we've been through? Daniel's family pressured him to drop it. You're being paranoid, my aunt said. Lena loves you. But Daniel held firm. It's just a precaution, he said quietly. If we never need it, great. But I want it. Lena signed it eventually, rolling her eyes and calling him ridiculous. Now, Daniel rereads every clause. Infidelity voids spousal claims. Financial misconduct voids shared assets. Fraud triggers immediate separation of finances. Lena signed away her rights without reading the fine print. She thought it was just a formality. She thought Daniel was being overly cautious. She didn't realize she was signing her own destruction. Daniel closes the prenup document and allows himself a tiny, grim smile. She mocked me for this, he says. Now it's going to save me. For 2 weeks, Daniel plays the perfect husband. He compliments Lena's cooking. He holds her hand at family dinners. He laughs at her jokes. She grows comfortable, careless. She starts taking calls right in front of him, stepping onto the balcony but leaving the door cracked. Daniel records everything. She forgets to delete messages before tossing her phone on the couch. Daniel screenshots them while she showers. One night, she tells Daniel she's meeting her sister for drinks. Daniel follows her. She meets the other man at a restaurant downtown. Daniel takes photos from across the street, time-stamped, geotagged, undeniable. When she comes home, she kisses Daniel and says, "My sister says hi." Daniel smiles and asks about her evening. She spins an elaborate story, wine choices, funny waiter, inside jokes. Every word is a lie. Daniel writes it all down. Date, time, lie told, truth uncovered. The notebook fills up. Lena thinks she's winning, but Daniel is 10 steps ahead, tightening the noose quietly. She never even feels it closing around her neck. Daniel finally tells me everything. We're sitting in his car outside a park, rain drumming on the roof. He talks for an hour straight, every lie, every betrayal, every piece of evidence. He's not crying. He's not yelling. His voice is calm, almost detached. I'm done, he says. But I'm not losing everything I've built. I ask if he's sure, if he wants to try counseling or separation first. Daniel shakes his head. She didn't make a mistake, he says. She made a choice. Over and over. 4 months. He tells me about the lawyer he's already consulted, about the prenup clauses that protect him, about the fraud charges he could press if he wanted. I don't want revenge, Daniel says quietly. I just want out, and I want what's mine. He looks at me, and for the first time, I see something other than pain in his eyes. I see resolve. Daniel isn't broken. He's strategic. And Lena has no idea what's about to hit her. Daniel meets with his lawyer, a sharp woman named Margaret who doesn't waste time on sympathy. She reviews every document Daniel provides, the prenup, bank records, photos, messages. She takes notes in silence, occasionally nodding. After an hour, she looks up. You have an airtight case, she says. Infidelity. Financial misconduct. Fraud. She violated multiple prenup clauses. Margaret explains the next steps. File for annulment, not divorce. Strip Lena of spousal claims, property rights, survivor benefits. Recover funds she stole. Possibly press charges for fraud. This won't be pretty, Margaret warns. She'll fight back. She'll play victim. Are you ready for that? Daniel doesn't hesitate. Yes. Margaret slides a folder across the desk. Sign these. We'll file tomorrow. Daniel signs every page without reading them. He's already memorized every word. He's been preparing for this moment since the hotel room. As he leaves the office, Daniel feels lighter. Not happy. Not relieved. But free. The hardest part is over. Now it's just paperwork and patience. 3 days later, Lena drops a bomb. At Sunday family dinner, she stands up, grinning, and announces, "We're pregnant." The room explodes. My aunt screams. Lena's mother cries. Everyone rushes to hug them. Daniel sits frozen, his fork halfway to his mouth. Lena kisses his cheek, laughing. Surprise, baby. The family celebrates for an hour. They plan baby showers and pick out names. Lena glows under the attention. Daniel says nothing. Finally, when the noise dies down, Daniel speaks. His voice is quiet but clear. Should we do a paternity test? The room goes silent. Lena's smile vanishes. What? She whispers. Daniel meets her eyes. Just to be safe. For medical records. Lena's face turns red. Are you accusing me of something? My aunt jumps in. Daniel, that's horrible. But Daniel doesn't back down. It's a reasonable request. Lena storms out, slamming the door. Her parents follow, glaring at Daniel. The dinner ends in chaos. I stay behind as everyone leaves. Daniel sits alone at the table, staring at his untouched plate. She won't take the test, he says quietly. Because she knows. Lena refuses the paternity test. For 3 days, she screams, cries, and plays the victim. She calls Daniel controlling and paranoid. She tells her friends he's emotionally abusing her. She threatens to leave him. Daniel stays calm. I'm not signing any birth certificate without a test, he says simply. Lena calls him a monster. Her parents call him heartless. Half the family sides with her. But Daniel doesn't budge. Finally, Lena's mother convinces her to take the test, just to prove Daniel wrong. Lena agrees, still sobbing about betrayal and mistrust. The results take a week. When the email arrives, Daniel opens it alone in his office. I'm there when he reads it. His face doesn't change. He simply closes the laptop and says, "It's not mine. The baby is the other man's." Lena's entire story falls apart in one sentence. Daniel forwards the results to his lawyer without comment. Then he walks into the living room where Lena is watching TV. "We need to talk," he says. Lena looks up, her face pale. She knows. Before he says a word, she already knows. Lena breaks down immediately. She falls to her knees, sobbing. "Please don't tell anyone," she begs. "Please, Daniel. I'll do anything." Daniel stands over her, his face unreadable. "How long?" he asks. Lena hiccups through tears. "It just happened. Once. I swear." Daniel pulls out his phone and shows her the photos. The bank statements. The timeline. "Don't lie to me anymore," he says quietly. "I know everything." Lena collapses onto the floor, wailing. She begs him not to destroy her. She says she was confused, scared, lonely. She blames stress and pressure and fear of commitment. She says she loves him, that she made a mistake. Daniel listens in silence. When she finishes, he crouches down to her level. "You didn't make a mistake," he says. "You made a choice. Every single day for 8 months. He stands up and walks to the door. "My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. Don't come back to this house." Lena screams after him, but Daniel doesn't turn around. He leaves her crying on the floor and drives to my apartment. When he arrives, he's calm. "It's over," he says. And I believe him. The next day, Lena calls everyone. She spins the story first, painting herself as the victim. She tells people Daniel is cruel and controlling, that he accused her of cheating with no proof, that he's trying to destroy her because he's insecure. Some relatives believe her. My aunt refuses to speak to Daniel. Lena's cousins post vague social media messages about toxic men and seeing people's true colors. But others are skeptical. They remember Daniel's quiet nature. They remember how Lena always needed attention. They start asking questions. Daniel doesn't defend himself publicly. He doesn't post on social media or send group texts. He simply forwards the paternity results to a few key family members, people he trusts to spread the truth quietly. Within 2 days, the narrative shifts. People start whispering about Lena, about the test results, about the timeline. Lena's support crumbles. Her friends stop answering calls. Her parents grow silent. The family splits down the middle. But the truth is out. And Lena can't spin her way out of DNA evidence. Daniel files for annulment. Not divorce, annulment. The distinction is critical. An annulment erases the marriage as if it never existed. No spousal support. No shared property. No survivor benefits. Lena gets nothing. His lawyer files the paperwork citing fraud and infidelity. The prenup clauses kick in immediately. Lena is frozen out of joint accounts. Her name is removed from the house deed. Her access to Daniel's insurance ends. Within 48 hours, Lena loses access to everything. She shows up at the house, pounding on the door, screaming that Daniel can't do this. But he can. The prenup she mocked gives him every right. Lena hires a lawyer, but it's too late. She signed away her protections. She violated every clause. Her lawyer reviews the case and quits after one meeting, telling her she has no chance. Daniel doesn't gloat. He doesn't even feel satisfied. He just feels tired. But he's winning. And Lena is finally facing consequences. The court date arrives. Daniel walks in with Margaret and 3 folders of evidence. Lena arrives with a public defender who looks overwhelmed. The judge reviews the prenup, the paternity results, and the financial records. Margaret presents everything methodically. Photos with timestamps. Bank statements showing fraud. Text messages proving the affair. Emails where Lena discussed leaving Daniel once she got enough. Lena's lawyer tries to argue emotional distress and youthful mistakes. The judge cuts him off. Your client committed fraud and infidelity, she says bluntly. The prenup is clear. The ruling takes 10 minutes. Annulment granted. Daniel keeps all assets. Lena is ordered to repay the stolen funds. No alimony. No claims to property. Lena sobs in her chair. Her lawyer packs up quickly and leaves. Margaret shakes Daniel's hand. It's over, she says. Daniel nods. He doesn't smile. He doesn't celebrate. He just walks out of the courtroom and gets in his car. I meet him at a diner afterward. How do you feel? I ask. Daniel stirs his coffee slowly. Empty, he says, but free. The case becomes public record. A local blogger who covers court cases picks it up. The story spreads: cheating bride, secret affair, paternity fraud. Lena's name is everywhere. Her employer, a boutique marketing firm, places her on unpaid leave pending internal review. Her social media accounts are flooded with harsh comments. Old friends distance themselves. Lena's parents stop returning her calls. They're humiliated by the public attention. Her sister posts a vague message about disappointment and lies, and everyone knows who she's talking about. Within a week, Lena is a pariah. Invitations dry up. Job offers are rescinded. People cross the street to avoid her. She tries to apologize publicly, posting a long Instagram statement about mistakes and growth. It gets ratioed into oblivion. Daniel doesn't comment. He doesn't react. He simply moves forward, quietly rebuilding his life. People start reaching out to him. Old friends, former colleagues, even strangers offering support. The narrative is set. Daniel is the wronged husband who handled everything with dignity. Lena is the cautionary tale. And everyone is watching. Lena's life collapses quickly. The apartment she rented under Daniel's name is repossessed. Her car, leased with joint credit, is returned. Her credit cards, all linked to Daniel, are cancelled. She moves back in with her parents, but they barely speak to her. She tries to get a job, but background checks reveal the court case. Employers ghost her after interviews. Friends who once partied with her now post about loyalty and trust on social media, subtly distancing themselves. The other man, the father of her baby, wants nothing to do with her. He blocks her number and moves to another state. Lena is alone, broke, and publicly shamed. She tries to reach out to Daniel multiple times, emails, texts, showing up at his office. He ignores all of it. His lawyer sends cease and desist letters. One night, she appears at his door, crying and begging for forgiveness. Daniel doesn't yell. He doesn't insult her. He just looks at her calmly and says, "You made your choices. Now live with them." Then he closes the door. Lena breaks down on his porch. A neighbor calls the police. She's escorted away. She never comes back. Lena's apology tour is pathetic. She shows up at family events uninvited, crying and begging people to forgive her. She sends long text messages to relatives, blaming hormones and stress and fear. Nobody buys it. My aunt, who once defended her, now refuses to see her. Lena's own mother tells her to take responsibility for once. She tries therapy, church, support groups, anything to repair her image. But the damage is done. People remember the lies, the fraud, the baby that wasn't Daniel's. Lena posts updates about healing and starting over, but her social media engagement is non-existent. People have moved on. She's old news. Meanwhile, Daniel thrives. He gets promoted at work. He travels. He volunteers. He starts dating again. Nothing serious, just casual dinners. He's happy in a quiet, steady way. I ask him once if he ever feels guilty. He shakes his head. She had every chance to tell the truth, he says. She chose to lie. That's on her. The final court ruling arrives 8 months after the wedding. The annulment is finalized. Daniel is legally free. Lena is ordered to repay $47,000 in stolen funds through wage garnishment, 20% of any income she earns for the next 5 years. She tries to appeal. The judge denies it. She tries to negotiate a lower amount. Daniel's lawyer refuses. Your client committed fraud, Margaret says. She's lucky we didn't press criminal charges. Lena is trapped. She can't move forward without dealing with the debt. She can't escape the consequences. Every paycheck will be a reminder of what she did. Daniel receives the final paperwork and files it away. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't post about it. He just closes that chapter of his life and moves forward. One afternoon, he donates his wedding tuxedo to charity. He deletes Lena's contact from his phone. He throws away old photos. He's not being spiteful. He's just making space for something better. Are you okay? I ask. Daniel nods. Yeah, he says. I really am. Our family is permanently changed. Some members still defend Lena, calling Daniel heartless. Others refuse to even speak her name. Holiday dinners are tense and divided. My aunt eventually apologizes to Daniel, admitting she was wrong to pressure him about the prenup. Daniel accepts gracefully but keeps his distance. Trust, once broken, doesn't fully heal. Lena fades from family conversations. She becomes the cautionary tale we don't talk about directly, but everyone references. Remember what happened with Lena? Someone will say when discussing relationships or trust. Daniel moves to a new city for work. He buys a small house with a garden. He adopts a dog. He builds a life that's quiet, stable, and entirely his own. I visit him once. His home is peaceful. Books on the shelves, plants on the windowsill, no traces of the chaos he survived. You seem good, I tell him. Daniel smiles. I am, he says. It took a while. But I got here. The wedding that was supposed to be his happiest day became his worst nightmare. But Daniel turned it into his greatest victory, not through revenge, but through precision, patience, and refusing to be destroyed. A year later, Daniel is thriving. He's been promoted twice. He's traveling. He's dating someone new, a kind, steady woman who makes him laugh. He's genuinely happy in a way I never saw with Lena. Lena, from what I hear, is working retail and living with roommates. She's still paying off the debt. She's still trying to rebuild her reputation. She posted recently about lessons learned and new beginnings, but nobody engages with her content anymore. The other man is gone. The baby is being raised quietly, away from drama. Lena's parents help occasionally but maintain distance. She's not a villain in their eyes anymore, just a disappointment. Our family has mostly moved on. The wedding is rarely mentioned. When it is, people talk about Daniel's strength, not Lena's betrayal. Daniel tells me he doesn't think about her anymore. She's not part of my story, he says simply. And he means it. That wedding day, the moment Daniel's phone buzzed with proof of betrayal, wasn't the end of his life. It was the moment he took control of it. He didn't yell. He didn't break. He strategized, documented, and won. And now, he's living the life he always deserved. Quiet. Peaceful. Free. Lena thought she could fool him forever. But Daniel had the last word. And that word was checkmate.